Okay. So I'm really, really excited to talk with you guys today. And, like Ashley said, I'm just going to share, honestly, I'm going to share from my heart today. I'm going to share things that I feel like are things that all of us need to hear sometimes. And it's kind of like the preacher. Sometimes you go to church and what he's talking about applies directly to you and what you're going through. And sometimes you think back a month later and go, oh, that's what he was talking about because it didn't apply to you right then. Right. So I don't know where you may be with this, but I just had this on my heart and I want to talk to you guys about it. Because I think that we all can go through times where our life is crazy and we have a business to run, right? And we feel overwhelmed in our personal life and we don't, we feel like we're trying to juggle all the things and we're dropping the balls and we're not as confident as we normally are. Maybe you feel like your business is down, you feel like it's just not flowing like it used to, you're comparing yourself to others and you're looking at all the ways why you don't add up to this other person, or you're comparing yourself to someone else and going, I'm doing the exact same thing she is and she has all this and I don't, and does this mean I'm not supposed to be a part of this business, or maybe I'm not good enough for this, or maybe that's a sign that I'm not supposed to be here, or like we just do all these crazy things, right? Like, and I think women in general a lot of times just struggle with that feeling of enoughness, right? Like we just struggle with feeling in a lot of things that we do. Am I a good enough mom? Am I a good enough wife? Am I a good enough friend? Am I a good enough coworker? Am I a good enough pharmacy beauty influencer? And we talk to ourselves in a way that we would never even talk to our worst enemy, right? Like we would never talk to other people the way we can talk to ourselves and put ourselves down in our head. And if you're anything like me, then you have like these two things inside of you that like fight against each other. And there's the one side that knows that you're worthy and you're enough and you're loved and you have a calling and you have a mission, and you're exactly where you need to be, and everything worth having is uphill, and it's not always going to be easy. And then this other side that's going, well, if it's not easy, then maybe you're not where you're supposed to be, and you're probably not good enough. And she is prettier than you, and younger than you, and skinnier than you, and she is more than you, and you're not good enough, and you just need to quit, and you just need to right? Like, so we have these constant, like, this is what it feels like sometimes in my brain, right? So, am I alone in this? I just need to see. I've got some people here going spot on, preach, yes. So I want you to know, first of all, if that's where you're at, or if you've been there before, or maybe you're going to head into that season at some point, because you will. I want you to know that you're not alone, and this is pretty normal, right? And I've been there. I experienced that in my business. I had seasons in my business. I was literally in this industry, in the field, as a leader for 15 years. So you don't do anything for 15, you don't do anything for a year and not have doubts and not wonder, am I enough, or is this where I'm supposed to be, or is this what I should be doing? And I'll never forget. So you guys should know I'm a huge advocate of therapy, counseling, all the things, I'm a huge advocate of all that. And so I was talking with my counselor at one point, and she looked at me because I think we have this thing of like, we talk about our why so much. And we talk about, like, we have to have our purpose and our mission. And we hear that a lot in this industry, frankly, right? Like, what's your why? What's your purpose? What's your mission? And we say things like, I want to help other women and I want to do all these different things. And I know that you do. But we have to help ourselves before we can help other people, right? If you can't pay your own bills, you can't help someone else pay their bills. If you can't work through your own mental stuff, then you're not going to be able to help other people work through their own, mental stuff. If you aren't growing your own business and learning how to recruit and learning how to sell and learning how to overcome the demons in your head about your insecurities as a leader or your insecurities as a beauty influencer, then you're not going to be able to help other people. But as women, we like to focus out and we like to focus on other people and we like to focus on, their stuff. I think that's why we gossip. You know what I mean? Because I would much rather talk about her crazy than I would look at my own crazy and have to analyze it and work through it, right? We just do that. So it is what it is. But we don't have to be that way. So when I was talking to my counselor one time, I was really having this identity crisis. I was like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And I'm a woman of faith. So it was like, is this what God wants for me? Am I living in my purpose? And whatever. And she looked at me and she said something to me, guys, that sounded so blasphemous and so crazy when she first said it. And then when I really thought about it, I was like, oh. And she looked at me and she said, what if God doesn't care? I was like, what do you mean? He cares about every little detail. He cares about everything in my life. He cares about the birds of the field and the da-da-da-da-da. And so of course he cares about me. And she said, no, 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 no. Of course he cares. But what if you can serve your purpose in this world? Whether you are, a beauty influencer in pharmacy, whether you are volunteering at your, local, shelter, whether you are wiping your baby's dirty butt, whether you are, like just serving your family and your husband. And what if your purpose can be served literally wherever you are? So it doesn't really matter where you're doing it. It only matters that you're doing it wherever it is that you're planted, and you don't need to have to worry about going and trying to plant yourself somewhere else. You just need to stay where you are, because that's where you're planted right now, and do what you can do where you are. And like I said at first, I was just like, that is not the case. That is not what it can, that is not it. But the more I thought about it, I was like, man, you know what? I mean, I think she's right. I mean, because if she's not right, then that means that, first of all, I'm judging other people that because they are, a janitor, or they work in a factory, or they're doing something that, that's not out here changing the world like me, that somehow they're not living in their purpose, right? When they could be living in their purpose and serving and doing all the things that they feel called to do in whatever capacity that is, because we're all different. We all have different talents. We all have different abilities. We all have things that come easier to us than maybe someone else, but that doesn't mean we can't learn the things, right? And the other thing that we talked about that I want to share with you is, you can be in your purpose and you can be doing what you're supposed to be doing for the season that you're in, and it can still be extremely uncomfortable. A sign of whether or not you're where you're supposed to be has nothing to do with your comfort zone. Because a matter of fact, if you are in your comfort zone, you probably aren't. You probably aren't out there doing what it is that you say you want to have or be or do or become. I mean, I'll never forget someone telling me that if money can fix it, it's not a problem. And that pissed me off. I'm just going to be blunt. I mean, it made me so mad, because I was in debt up to my eyeballs, and I was so worried about how I was going to make rent. I was a single girl. I was 19, and I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to pay my rent this month. Now, we'll ignore the fact that I was mismanaging all of my money, but whatever, you know what I mean? Like, to me, I needed the money. And this mentor of mine looked at me and said, if money can fix it, it's not a problem, because you can make the money. It may not be easy, it may, you won't be able to living your life exactly as you're living it now, right? But I mean, you can make the money. You have a vehicle to make the money with your direct sales business. The real problems in life are the things that money can't fix. And y'all know what I say. And if you don't know, I'm about to tell you, the truth will set you free, but it will piss you off first, typically, right? So that's what happened to me that day. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so true. And it literally changed my whole outlook. So if you're in this place where you're feeling a lot of the ways that I just described, then I want to share some things that really helped me, besides some of that mentorship and, some of the pouring into me and the truths that some people spoke. I want to help you with literally how to work through it. Okay. So number one is to understand that everyone goes through it. This is normal. We all have moments in our entrepreneurial journey where you wonder if you're meant to be an entrepreneur. We have seasons where it just flows, and it feels as if we're not doing anything and it's just all coming to us and whatever. And then we have seasons where we feel like we work for every single little victory. We work our hiney's off. And I don't care if you own a brick and mortar boutique or a restaurant, or if you own a, you're a part of pharmacy, right? And you're an entrepreneur in pharmacy, and it doesn't matter. You will have those seasons. So you are special, but you are not special if you are sitting here going, I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm recruited. Why don't you recruit again? Oh my God. The other thing I want you to know is that you will never, ever, 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 as long as you are in this industry, stop recruiting and stop building your clientele. Because everything in your business has a life cycle, and the people that join your team will not stay forever. I mean, I don't care if they did come to you and say they're going to stay forever. They may, but there is a statistical life cycle to beauty influencers, and it's about 90 days. And then after 90 days, they're either growing into leadership or they are a discount diva. They're a discount shopper. And that's just what it is. So if you have had people on your team that have stayed longer than that, I mean this with so much love, but if they stayed longer than that, then that is great. That is not the norm, but that is wonderful. But you got to get over yourself telling yourself that your business is just falling apart when you haven't really even recruited in the last few months, or you've recruited one or two here or there, and you have been living your business off of people who have been here forever. Because your job as a beauty influencer, if you want to build a team, if you want to have a team and you want to earn consistent, very beautiful, nice income, is sharing the opportunity and building a clientele. And the same thing for your clients. They have a life cycle, right? I mean, and half the time the life cycle is they turn into a beauty influencer, because if they love the products and they've been using it forever, then eventually they are going to join your team, because why wouldn't they, right? Or they move on to something else, because the skincare and cosmetics industry, the health and wellness industry, all of it is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. So to tell yourself oh my God, someone doesn't like my product. Oh my God, someone doesn't want to that's just crazy. I mean, I can find anyone at any given time who would say that pharmacy is the best thing since sliced bread, or that it's the worst thing since sliced bread. I mean, it just depends on who you talk to. So choose wisely who you talk to and who is feeding into you and your mind and your thoughts and what you're focusing on, right? Because that's what you're going to believe. So understand that it happens to everyone. Understand that recruiting and selling, you will never arrive. There will literally never be a time in this. You could work your way all the way to boss, and you will never stop recruiting or stop building a customer base. Okay. I mean, that just is what it is. Period. Right. The other thing that I want to encourage you to do in this season, or really just to have success, whether you want to maintain where you are or you are working to grow, is you have to decide and believe that quitting is not an option. So this was something else a mentor said to me a long time ago. And I was pretty young in my business, and I was dealing with the things. And honestly, you guys literally have only been doing this for three years maximum, because the company has only been around for 3 or 4 years in the US, right? So I remember I was about 2 years in, and I had just had my first year where I had worked my business full time. I had not done it, it wasn't part-time for me anymore. It was my only income. And I'd had a couple of hard months. Now they were self-inflicted because I was not showing up the way I needed to, but it's so much easier to blame it on everything else versus what I am or am not doing, right? And so I was just like, I don't know, maybe I need to go get a real job. I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this is a sign from God that this isn't what I'm supposed to do, because it was just so easy before. And my mentor looked at me and said, Bonnie, until you decide that quitting is not an option, then anytime things are hard, and this is life is hard. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's joyous. There's happy moments. There's amazing things in it, but it's not easy. Happiness is hard work. You have to work to be happy, right? Not work a job, but you literally have to work at happiness and feeling joy, and work and focus on choose what you focus on and all those things, right? So she was like, until you decide that quitting is not an option when it gets hard, that you are not going to start letting your mind wander to maybe I need to join another company that'll fix it. Or maybe, network marketing just isn't for me and I need to go get a normal part-time job making, $10 an hour or $15 an hour working retail or something. Or, maybe I need to go get a real job like everyone else has and blah, blah, blah. Until you stop thinking about all that, then you will always, when it gets hard, plummet because you're letting your mind wander and be distracted by all these different things. And that was hard for me to hear too. Y'all just love that I'm literally, just telling you all the things you don't want to hear, but they're so true and they can be life-changing if you let them, right? So that is one of the biggest things that changed my career. And I want to challenge you today. Then you need to decide that quitting is not an option. You're not going to go there. You're not going to think about that. You're not going to go to this place of maybe I just shouldn't do this. Like, just because you don't hit your goal doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be here. And frankly, the things that you're carrying around with you that are affecting your business, if you were, let's just be real here. I'm just going to throw all my cards on the table, okay? Like if someone else in corporate watches this, they're probably going to be like, oh my God, Bonnie, you're fired. No, I'm joking. But I mean, like seriously, most of the things that beauty influencers deal with that affect their success has nothing to do with the company they're with. And so what happens is they leave a company, they jump to another company. They never dealt with those issues. They never dealt with their lack of discipline. They never dealt with their lack of consistency. They never dealt with getting over their fear of reaching out to people. And so they go to the next company and they're all excited and pumped up and it's good for a little while. But then when real life happens and you got to do this real work, then they start blaming that company again. And then they jump to the next company and it's the same cycle over and over and over again because the problem is not the problem. The problem is is them and that the things that they need to do. So this is what's so beautiful though. It's scary because of course we want to blame other things. Like I can't do this because XYZ. But as I've said, you cannot be a victor and a victim at the same time. I mean, you literally can't. So if you're blaming all these external sources, and let me be clear, you have got legit stuff, guys. I mean, you have real life problems, issues, struggles. When I say that you're blaming these things, I am not making light of what you're going through in your life. I am not saying that you don't have a valid reason that you have been distracted or discouraged or whatever the case may be. I am not saying that at all. So please do not think that I am. But what I am saying is that when you go through these things, it's not about quitting. It's about pivoting. It isn't about blaming your circumstances because that is a choice. Like you may not be able to choose that you're going through this thing, but you can choose if you're just going to blame it and use it as the reason to not live the life you want to live, or if you are going to pivot. Where are my friends? People out. Pivot. Are you going to pivot and redirect? Because you can be firm about your goals, but flexible about your methods. Because you know what? Life happens. I mean, it does. And sometimes it punches us in the gut. And it sucks, right? But pharmacy can be the bright spot. Pharmacy can be the fun thing. Pharmacy can be the thing that you have more control over than you have of other things in your life, right? But if I'm going to blame external circumstances, then I can't be a victor. I'm just going to be a victim and I can't fix anything because when I'm in my victim mentality, when I'm in the world is against me and nothing's working out for me and everything's hard. And if only my husband would support me and if only my kids wouldn't do this and if only my full-time job, if only I had time during my full-time job to work my pharmacy business, if only I could quit my full-time job, if only pharmacy would do this, that, or the other, if only this, and that, and we're blaming all these things. Well, you can't do that and then also be solution-oriented and figure out how to make this work for you. So firm about your goals, but flexible about your methods, and understand that what you're going through right now is actually going to set you up for success in the next season, but then it will also help you be a better, stronger leader. Because when everything's going right and everything's going easily and everything's just flowing, and then you have someone on your team and that's not the case, you can't help them because you don't know what they're going through. But if you've been through a season where you had to get a hold of your mindset and you had to work on feeding your mind with the good, the clean, the pure, the powerful, the positive, even when you didn't want to. If you've been through a season where you literally did not want to prospect, but you did it anyway because you knew that that was the thing that you needed to do. It's kind of like eating the salad instead of the fries because you don't want to, but you know it's what you need to do, right? So you prospect even though you don't feel like it and you did it anyway. That is the sort of thing that actually makes you an amazing leader because you've been through it and you know what that person's talking about, but you've also been victorious of it and you're out of the season, and then you can share and pour into other people. I literally could not be sitting here today having this conversation with you and knowing what some of you have went through, are going through now, or will go through if it wasn't something that I have been through. So I would be of no use to you right now. So there is purpose in it, okay? So understand entrepreneurs have these feelings, but decide that you are not going to give up and control the controllables. You feel like your team's not working? Okay, go recruit a new team. I mean, that's what you have control over. I mean, you literally cannot make anyone do anything that they do not want to do. You are not that powerful. No one is. I mean, you can hardly make yourself do what you say you want to do. So how do you think you're going to get other people to do stuff that they don't want to do? So you got to control the controllables and lead yourself first. Leading from the front is not about doing a bunch of trainings. Leading from the front is about doing the work and setting the example, because this entire industry is about watching what other people do. And you do not have to know how to train necessarily. All you have to know how to do is to say, well, this is what I did. Here's a screenshot of what I said. Here's the post I did. Here's the reel I did that worked. Here's how I replied to that. Here's what I did. I mean, that's how you lead from the front. And I mean, that's it. It's really very simple. You do the things, you prospect, you recruit, you build a clientele, and then you're recruiting people that are also going to go out and prospect and recruit and build a clientele. And our business is very simple. It's not always easy, but it is very simple. And it may sound a little bit of a catch-22 when I say this, but when you're going through a hard season in your business or in your life that's affecting your business, you need to take time to sit down and remember why you started it and ask yourself, is this why I'm still here? Or is there another reason? Because the reason you started this journey in pharmacy does not have to be the reason why you are still here in pharmacy. What you want out of your pharmacy business now may not be what you wanted or needed from your pharmacy business 6 months ago, because life changes. But you have to be honest with yourself and stop BSing yourself about what you want or don't want, and much less Ashlea or your leader, right? Okay, whoever on here is your upline leader, you can't lie to yourself or lie to them. You have to be honest about what you really want, because that will bring joy into your life as well, instead of just sharing, what you think you're supposed to say. What are you truly willing to do? What do you actually want to do? One of the reasons that I created this sheet that you guys have seen me share, and I'm sure you've seen your leaders sharing everything about your weekly focus. I mean, this top part with the personal business, you need to be doing that. What is your goal? And breaking it down, all of your goals, your sales goal, your PV goal, your recruiting goal, your GV goal, dividing it by 4, for each week. And then deciding, okay, so what do I need to do this week? Asking yourself when you're going to show up for your business. When are you going to work your business? And what specifically are you going to do? What kind of obstacles do you have this week that could prevent you from achieving your goals and taking action? And then how are you going to plan to work around or adjust for that? Like, these are questions that you want to ask yourself every single week. This is strategy. This is actually being thoughtful, and it also frees you up. Because if you have some sort of goal in your head that's like this goal over here, like I want to do this thing over here, I want to be director, and it's just 5,000 GV, I just want to be a director, and you have not mapped out how you're going to get there, then it feels stressful, hopeless sometimes. It feels unattainable. It feels like this
Okay, Google, turn off
thing.
music.
It feels weird, right? And it feels hard to achieve. And then you get into the last week and you're like, oh God, how am I going to do this? I don't know how I'm going to do it. And then you're frantic, and then you're pushing, and then you're either celebrating, but you're exhausted. So you have to take 2 weeks off the next month, or you didn't hit it. And then you're beating yourself up and asking and questioning yourself if you're even supposed to be here, when the fact of the matter is you didn't actually strategize how you're going to do it for the whole month to begin with. So I just want you guys to know that, yes, I know Ashley and Noelle, and I don't know what other platinum or aboves are on here, but they are doing Mallory, they're doing strategy calls with you guys, and you want to take advantage of that, where they're going to help you break down your goals and understand how you can achieve it in a way that is palatable, and a way that you can achieve it based on your life, what you have going on. And no one wants you to set a goal that you absolutely cannot achieve, that you just flat out do not have the time at this point in your life to achieve. So they will help you see any kind of potholes as well, and either work around it or adjust accordingly. So you need to take advantage of that. I mean, all of you in this downline, this group, you have amazing resources of leaders, even if they're not your direct upline, right? Like, I mean, it is ridiculous. And if you commit to it and consistently do it, I think you're going to be shocked at how by the end of the year, your business will have transitioned. And if you are in that season of feeling like you're not enough, or you're struggling, or it's hard, you're not going to feel that way. And that's the last point I'll share. When you're in this season, you have to lean on your community, but choose your community wisely. So who are you spending time with? Are you spending time in this season with people who are going to validate the blah, that are going to feed the negative energy, that are going to go, yeah, me too, I know, I'm dealing with that too, it sucks, it's hard, and perpetuate those feelings of loss and lack and stress and sadness and exhaustion and just depressive type things? Are you going to surround yourself with people like that? Because you can, and you'll find them in pharmacy. I mean, they're everywhere. Okay. So you can, and you will feel good in that moment, like in that moment, because there's that person there who's like, they get you, right? But it's only going to feel good in that moment. Or are you instead going to choose to surround yourself with women, with people who have what you would like to have, who have that inner joy, who have been through struggles, they've been through things, but they are on the other side of it, and they can mentor and help you through it. They can guide you through it, at least in your pharmacy business, right? Like how to work through it, and deal with it, that can inspire you, that you can look up to, that can pour life into you, that can help you with the good, the clean, the pure, the powerful, the positive, which are the things that are going to uplift and inspire you and help carry you through. Because yes, Noelle, you are who you surround yourself with. So my hope and my prayer for all of you is that you understand that you are exactly where you need to be. And I promise you, the solution to any of your problems is not running away. It is standing your ground, standing strong, working through the hard stuff. Even if the hard stuff is you actually have to learn how to recruit, because you started pharmacy in the middle of a pandemic, when your recruits just fell in your lap because everyone was sitting at home and no one was doing anything, and they were bored, and they had income, and they were just like, fine, whatever, I'll join this and do this or whatever, right? Like, if that's where you started and you think that's how it's going to be the rest of your life, guess what? The world has changed. It's not like that anymore. So even if you have to learn how to actually recruit, even if you have to learn how to actually work with a team and mentor your team, even if you have to learn how to actually sell, because you can't just say, oh my God, I love it, and everyone buys it, right? Like you have to learn how to actually prospect. Which, shameless plug, yesterday we did a training all about prospecting that's company wide that you can go back and watch in the corporate Facebook US and Puerto Rican group. And we're going to be doing that every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this month and building on it each week. So, like, take advantage of the resources that you have. Okay. All right, guys. So, when I hope when you go through these things, when you have these struggles, or when you have someone that's going through it, that you can lean on these things, lean on these notes, go back and watch this training. But I'm going to tell you, I'll leave you with this. You have to ultimately act yourself into the feelings. If you wait until you feel confident enough, if you wait until you feel like you have the energy, or you feel like you have the time, or you feel like you have whatever it is you think you need to feel to do it, that day may never come. And if it does, it will be very sporadic. The way the feelings come, the feelings are followed by the actions. It's not actions and then it's actions and then feelings, not feelings and then actions. It's actions first. So what can you do today? What is an action that you can take today, or several actions that you can take today in your business that will bring you feelings of excitement, joy, and celebration? Go and do that and feel good, and then do it again and do it again and do it again. Okay. All right, Ashley. Anybody have any questions? Anything that you want to ask, whatever, before we hop off?
Yes, anything. This is an opportunity. Bonnie is like the bee's knees. I know she's transformed my business. She's transformed Noelle's and Mallory's and some of you that she's had calls with. Like, this is the moment to pick her brain, ask her anything. We don't want to hold her up too long, but if there's something, like, that's why we made this call. Like, feel free to ask. Ashley's got her hand raised, so we'll let Ashley ask. Ashley is the number one. Let me just throw this out if you don't recognize the name. Ashley Jenkins is the number one seller in pharmacy. Like, every single month her name is number one. So y'all be following her. But so yes, thank you so much, Bonnie, for this. And yeah, y'all just can raise your hands if you have any questions. Yep. And then we'll just kind of go that way. So all right, Ashley, you first.
Yeah, girl,
well,
go for it.
Thank you, Bonnie, for doing this. This is amazing. And I love the way you started it, because I talk about that all the time, about going to church and sitting there. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is just for me. Sorry for everybody else that had to be here. Or then the other, or the other times where I'm like, oh, if, so-and-so could just be here for this, because this doesn't do anything. So when Mallory reached out to me and said, you need to set up a time to talk with Bonnie. And like, I get my little, if y'all saw my calendar over here, it's crazy, trying to get everything organized, trying to figure out my team. And yes, I mean, I love to see that I'm top seller and all that. But here I am, like, somebody help me. I need to build a team. I want to build a team. I want to go to Turkey. I want to do all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not that I beat myself up, but it is that, like, what I love what you said, you sit down, okay, here's the situation, but here's our plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so easy. This isn't really a question, or maybe it is, I don't know, but it's to like look at someone else's and like, oh my gosh, if they would just do this, but when you're in it. And I got on my little team page the other day and I said, where am I uncomfortable? I think it was Mallory was the one that was talking to me about this. It's like, why am I not building my team? I mean, I'm doing what we're supposed to. I get 3 a month and, power, all this stuff, but I want to see, growth. And she's like, well, do you talk about it every time you do a live? And I'm like, no, what am I not doing? And I know the things because I'm going to tell my team members what to do. So I guess my question would be, how do you get out of that place of knowing, like, that's what I always say. Pharmacy gives us everything. Mm-hmm. They give us they give us Ashlea Veals. They give us everything we need. But when you're in it, sometimes you can't see, like Mallory said, well, are you talking about it? It's like, well, I told my teammates to talk about it, but I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
So I guess that's my struggle right now, because everybody else would say to me, like, oh, you're doing great, you're a top sales. But I can't sustain that forever. I mean, maybe I can, I hope I can, but it's like, I need to build a team. I want to continue. I want to do these things, but it's not like I have this girl on my team. She's like, I don't know what it is, but I can just recruit everybody. I'm like, well, let's figure that out. And you tell me, what you're doing, because I need to learn from you,
Yeah.
So there's a question in all that. Like,
Mhm.
how do you recognize? I mean, I recognize what I need to do. I want to build a team. I know the action that's there, but what am I doing that's not actually
Mhm.
activating that? Does that make
Right.
sense?
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, something's missing, but you don't feel like you're missing anything. As far as recruiting goes, you feel like you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing to bring in the recruits, but you're not bringing in the recruits. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
And so how do you figure out what that is?
Because I'm not actually really doing it.
Right. So, well, I mean, so I will say, I don't know that it isn't that you're not doing it, but I believe that our results don't lie. And so when we look at our results, when we look at the numbers, and we're not seeing it there, it's very easy, because once again, we're very feeling motivated as women, right? And so our feelings are telling us we're doing all the things, but the results aren't there. So it's twofold. One is, you do have to give yourself time. So sometimes it is just a matter of, we want instant gratification and we're not getting it instantly. Like, I did that reel about joining and no one joined. What the crap? What's going on? I shared information with one person and she didn't jump on it. What's going on? So sometimes it is just about, the consistency and giving it time and letting it become a habit and getting used to it being a part of your daily life, because you have been for you specifically, you've been so sales focused that you haven't talked about the opportunity as much. So you have to give yourself time to make that like a part of your everyday business practices. But
Right.
if the time has been there and you still feel like you're doing the things, you're not getting the results, then the fact of the matter is, there is something that's missing. It isn't you. It isn't that people don't want to join you. It isn't that pharmacy is broken or that it only works for certain people, because if that were true, then that would mean this entire industry is a lie. And it's not. So it isn't you, or that so and so knows better people or whatever, right? It means something's missing. So
Right.
frankly, it's perfect timing, because the series that we are doing as the business development team this month, with our Take 10s, which are Monday,
Yes.
Wednesday, Friday, they're 10 minutes at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can watch the replay in the group. And with those weekly Wednesday afternoon trainings that you can watch the replay on if you can't be live, we're going to talk about this exact thing, Ashley. So what I would encourage you to do is to check yourself. Also, are you at least 18% to be in Take the Lead? And Take the Lead, all of you should be I just realized who I'm talking to. Sorry. So yeah, all of you should be in Take the Lead. Should be in Take the Lead. And we did in May, we did an entire all about recruiting month. So it's guide number 4 in Take the Lead. And it walks you through everything from, the perceptions we have, how to stop prejudging, knowing how to build your brand, which Noelle did. It was amazing. To literally understanding touches, which we basically recreated that for the training yesterday we did in the group. So, you can watch it either place. Understanding touches and building your funnel and your network and where to find people. Words and scripts to use to convert the conversation about pharmacy, to find out if the people are actually interested in pharmacy from a product or a business standpoint, all the way through to them joining. Okay. So you guys have the resources and tools available to you, and that's on top of whatever Ashley probably offers, but you have it there. So I think when you're in that place, which any of us can get into, then I would literally commit to watching that series. And the thing about it, ladies, when you're watching that series, this is not something that's meant for you to just like, this is like a study series, right? It's like you are learning, it's a class. Now, the videos are 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe, but you're taking notes and then you are going to apply what you learned, and you won't move on to the next video until you have applied what you've learned and you feel confident about what you learned in the previous video. That's how that works. It's not something that you just skip ahead and just watch them all and skip around and whatever. It's meant to be learned and digested, in the order that it was originally premiered. And I also just want to say to all of you, if you can sell, you can recruit, because recruiting is selling. And if you can recruit, you can sell, because recruiting is selling. So it really is a mindset thing when, like we think we can't recruit someone. We can sell them $200, but we can't have them join for 20. So, something's not adding up. So it's our mindset, right? So that training series will give you a lot of confidence for sure. Awesome. Does that help, Ashley?
Oh, yes. And then some.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Do we have any other questions?
Anybody else? That was awesome. Good. Everyone's good? Okay, well, I will get this recording for those that weren't able to jump on. And again, Bonnie, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And all of you, you have access to her. Reach out to your platinum director if you feel that you need more, one-on-one. Like I've gotten on calls with some of my frontline directors, myself and her, and we just kind of like break things down. So definitely reach out to your platinum. You can schedule some trainings and calls with her as well.
I'm going to share in the chat, Ashley. I just shared, if you guys want to grab it real quick before we hop off, that is my 15-minute link that you can book. And especially if you've never had a call with me before, that's just kind of an introductory thing. And then we decide from there if it's best that you talk with me again, if you talk with someone in your downline, upline, whatever. So you guys can use that link if you'd like to book with me. And then Bobby has her hand up. So yes, Bobby.
Perfect.
Yes, I'm sorry, before you all go. The one thing that I'm struggling, I think, the most with is trying to determine, right, my sales are always good. I'm always good with the sales, but I don't necessarily want to offer the business to my best customers because then my sales are going to fall. So that's where I go, I struggle with the, what do I do?
I mean, that's so common, Bobby. I mean, so you're not alone in that. I think that everyone thinks that, even if they don't want to admit it, so it's very brave of you to admit it. Like, I don't want to recruit her. She's an awesome customer. Right. So I will say that, I mean, I went through that too. And I had a year where I decided that I was going to work to recruit everybody. Like, I was going to offer the opportunity to every single person that I had the chance to offer the opportunity to, whether they were my best customer, whether they were at a party, and they were placing an order for the first time, like everybody. But here was the caveat, Bobby, that I was going to offer them the business opportunity, right? So there's a difference between saying, Bobby, you should really join pharmacy because you would get 50% off and you wouldn't be spending $100 a day. You'd be spending $50 a day. And it's only $20 to join. There's a big difference in doing that, which is crazy, versus saying, Bobby, you love pharmacy so much and you have referred so many people to me and you're one of my best customers. And I would not be doing my job if I didn't make you aware of the fact that you could earn extra income when you shared this with other people. Would you be interested in learning more about that? You see how that's very different.
Right.
And when I decided to do that, Bobby, I mean, this is something you just have to trust me. When I decided to do that, that was the first year that I was number one. We called it queen, queen of recruiting for my entire company. And I had the biggest year that I had ever had in my entire career, both with my personal sales and with my team sales. I grew more leaders that year. I recruited more than I'd ever recruited. I mean, it all worked out because here's what was crazy. When I truly offered them the business opportunity, not joining for a discount, but you should join me. You love the product. You realize you can make extra money. Do you want to learn more? And they joined to earn the extra money. They were my best beauty influencers, and several of them became my leaders because they did love pharmacy and they did love the product and they did tell everyone about it. And it came easy for them. But there's a big difference between doing it that way versus, yeah, Bobby, you really should just join. You'll get 50% off. Da, 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 da. You don't want to do that. No, that's stupid. You just need to earn 50% commission because this is a business, right? Like you can't give away your business. But that's the difference in how you offer it to customers, because yes, you do want to offer it to your customers, but you're offering them a business, not a discount. Does that help?
It does. It does. I just have to make them understand then, some people are coming to me, well, why wouldn't I get 50% off? Yeah, but that's not what I want you in for.
Well, but Bobby, you also have to, I'm just going to be honest, since we're a small group. I'm hearing you're trying to control the situation, right? And if you try to keep them from something, like if you have people saying to you, well, why wouldn't I get the why wouldn't I join and get 50% off? And you're trying to talk them out of it, you're going to be very upset because one day soon they're going to join under someone else that offers them the opportunity, and you will lose the customer and the recruit. So you also have to remember that people join every single day that, you offer them the business opportunity and they join and say, well, if nothing else, I'll get the discount. So they say that they're here for the discount. But what we do with them once they join and offering them the information, like of what's available to them after they join. And the welcome program is one of your biggest tools, because it's not about getting them to buy $125 worth, right? Or getting them to buy $75 worth. It's about getting them, to place their first order. I want you to make 50%, because why not? And that's going to get them excited. When they're making money, they're going to stay. And the other thing I'll tell you is I literally, when I recruited my customers, I made more money off of them. And I only made on average, the company I was with, I only made on average 10% off of them. That's how our compensation plan worked when I averaged it out. Okay. So I know it's different here. It's frankly more, but I made on average 10%, but I made 40% when they bought from me. So I'm like, why would I give up the 40 and just make the 10? Well, it's because instead of placing $200 or $300 a month, they were ordering like $3,000, a month. Like they were out there selling that, right? So they're going out and selling, because now it wasn't just them ordering. It was them and their friends and their coworkers and their family. And so I was getting orders on my team that I would have never gotten otherwise, because I don't know those people, because she had a network I didn't have. So it was, and not only that, Bobby, but I didn't have to work for it the same way. So would you rather make 40% of 300 or 10% of 3,000?
Sure.
Or 50%, whatever. Like, so that's how I look at it. So yeah. So yeah. Does that help?
It does.
Yeah.
And I'll say, Stacy just commented too. She was my biggest customer when she came to me saying, I want to sign up. Eat inside. I was like, no, like, please stop. And now here she is. She just hit month 3 director and got her $1,000 cash bonus. So it definitely paid off in the long run. And we've got that preferred customer program coming out soon. And that's going to be huge. I think a lot of us are going to be like, oh, I'm losing 50% commission. Yeah, but then you're going to get monthly orders and you're going to get more commission because they're ordering every single month because of the auto ship. So
and anyway, Bobby, let me tell you too, I have to say this. Did I recruit customers who then didn't order as much as they did when they were a customer? Yep. You know what? They fell back off eventually they fell off, and then they just started reordering from me as a customer again. So I literally, there was no loss there. Like I never lost anything. I was scared when I first started doing it, but I was like, I'm giving it 1 year, no fear, no prejudging. No, I'm not going to offer it to her because she doesn't need the money and I need this money more than she needs it. And she wouldn't work the business as hard as I would. Like none of that crap. I was just offering it to everyone. It radically changed my business. Literally my income tripled. It tripled. All because I stopped living in that fear and scarcity mindset of I don't want to lose. Because here's the other thing, Bobby, you need more customers anyway. So, and those customers have a life cycle. So if you don't recruit them, it's like I said earlier, eventually they're going to move on to something else. So recruiting them is also a way to have loyalty, because they are going to use pharmacy, because I do get a discount with pharmacy because they are bombarded every single day with 5 gazillion different products that they could use instead.
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome. I feel like she's like,
Oh, no.
dang it.
No, I'm sitting here thinking of a plan of a couple of them already.
Yeah, I love you, mean it. All right, guys. Anything else?
Thank you. I think we're good. Anybody else?
Last chance. I got 5 minutes left on my calendar for you. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ashley, I'll get this recording to you. You guys have a great day. Talk to you
Bye.
soon.
Thank
Bye.
you.